everybody, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Tovia. I'm Chef Tovia. As it's getting colder, our souls and hearts and bodies are going to desire an absolutely delicious soup. So today I'm going to demonstrate how to make this super easy spinach and potato soup. I'm going to be demonstrating that in my Geek Chef pressure cooker, but don't worry, there's no pressure cooking involved. I'm going to be using this in the standard mode. So those of you at home who don't have a pressure cooker, you'll still be able to follow this recipe along on your stove tops. You'll find all the ingredients you'll need in the description box under this video, and please subscribe to my channel. And when you do, hit the bell so you'll be notified of my uploads. So at the bottom of my Geek Chef electric pressure cooker, I'm going to add some olive oil. And I'm on saute function at 390 degrees. I'm going to add my onion. And then I'm going to add my sliced up meat. I'm using a sliced up pork. You can use chicken, you can use bacon. If you don't want to use any meat, you can leave it out. You can turn this into a vegetarian. If you want to turn it vegan, then leave out the meat and change out the milk. And also change out the cheese. So I'm just going to allow this to cook until my meat is browned. So it'll take about 6 to 7 minutes. I slice my meat up pretty small so they can be even size, so they can cook quicker, and that's ideal for this. Okay, now that the pork is done, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, just to give it a little bit of seasoning. If you want to add more seasoning in the beginning, it's totally up to you. And I'm going to remove the pork out, and I'm going to leave behind as much as the onion as I can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my chicken stock. And I'm going to just scrape the bottom, because you want to use that to get all that flavor off the bottom. After adding my stock, I'm going to bring this to a boil. So I'll be back once this comes to a boil. Now that this is coming up to a boil, I'm going to add my potatoes to it. And I'm going to let this cook for about 10 to 15 minutes or until they're about fork tender. I cut my potatoes about 1-inch pieces, 1.5-inch pieces. Just try to keep them the same size. And I'm using russet potatoes. Cover, let everything cook until they're about fork tender. Now I'm going to remove some of the potatoes out of the pot. I'm not going to remove all of it. I'm going to just remove just a good portion of them so we can have a contrast in textures. Puree the potatoes. So I got my immersion blender here, and we're just going to puree everything. Now I'm going to add my buttermilk, heavy cream. Then I'm going to give everything a stir. Then I'm going to add a couple of herbs and spices to this. And we're going to bring this back to a boil while we do that. I'm going to do this on medium-high heat. So if you're doing this in the pressure cooker, I'm doing it about 365 on the stove, medium-high heat. So I'm going to add some salt. I know it's going to need some salt. We'll taste it in and add more if needed. And add some black pepper. If you're concerned about the color, you can use white pepper. I'm going to use a little bit of dry thyme. This gives it a nice flavor. Not too much. You just want it in the background. A little bit of coriander. Not too much. It's very potent. And because I don't want to use any large chunks of garlic or anything, I'm going to use some garlic powder. If you want to use garlic, you can add in the beginning with the onion. I'm going to add a little bit of cumin to this because it gives a nice flavor. Turmeric. If you don't like turmeric, you can certainly leave it out as well. Turmeric gives it a nice flavor and color. I'm going to give everything a stir. Now as this is starting to come up to a slight boil, I'm just going to break up my potatoes here in the bowl. I'm just using the spoon to just break these potatoes up. And then we're going to return that to pureed potatoes here. Give that a stir. Then I'm going to return my meat, which is my pork that I had. Give everything a stir. And I'm going to let this cook for about 5 minutes or so. Okay, so it's been simmering for a few minutes, and I'm going to give everything a stir. And then finally I'm going to add in just a handful of spinach. Gives it a little more texture. And I turn off the heat, and I'm just going to let this sit until the spinach wilts. I'll sprinkle just a little bit of cheese on top, just a little dollop of sour cream on top. And I'm going to add a little bit of green onion as garnish. Please add this video to your playlist if you enjoy it, and please hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. So you see the soup is nice and creamy. It's beautiful in color from the turmeric. And we have the spinach in there. Really delicious. You got the cumin going on in the background, the coriander. It's nice, buttery from the buttermilk. We didn't have to add any butter to this, which is terrific. So guys, if you enjoyed today's recipe, please let me know down below. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and maybe I'll make it. Please remember to live and be well. Let's do what we can to love one another. Thank you for watching.